What is up, nerds? Welcome back to episode 42 of the Pickleball Pursuit podcast. I am your host, Lewis, with Pickleball Pursuit, here with my co-host, Justin, from Pickleball, etc. Justin, how you doing, man? What's going on?
I'm doing good. Haven't been able to play much. Still raining a bunch here, but that 'tis the season, for rain. So
yeah,
still waiting on a good indoor
peasant.
facility.
Yeah,
I know, right? So
yep.
Well, I'm gonna have to figure something out. Just gonna have to maybe go to the casino, win a quick 50K, build an indoor court. I don't know what my plan is.
NBD, dog. Sell your feet pics, man. Could be easy money. Well, we got a few things that we're going to talk about today, but before we get into that, we just want to say thank you to our title sponsor, which is PB Vision. PB Vision is an AI-driven tool where you can upload your pickleball gameplay. It will automatically analyze it, give you a bunch of statistics, analyzation, and be able to show you ways that you can improve upon your game, things you're doing well, things you're doing okay, and then obviously things that you really need to think about more to help make you a better player. So PB Vision is an awesome tool. I actually was using it the other day. It is just grotesque how many returns that I hit, in the middle or short. It is just ridiculous.
What I talked about last week. Yeah, that was mine from last week.
It's just unbelievable. I was looking at a few of the statistics and analytics from it. I probably average like less than 30-40% deep returns, which is not good. And a lot of them are short. I don't know what it is. It's just a persisting problem that clearly I just need to drill. And, watching back on PB Vision just gives me more insight. And, it literally shows you right there the things that you need to work on, which is what I love about it. So, anything else we want to talk about PB Vision before we talk about how they can get 15 bonus credits?
No, not this week.
All right, man. Well, you can use the link in the description and get 15 bonus credits when signing up for PB Vision Premium. Thank you, PB Vision, for sponsoring the Pickleball Pursuit podcast, something we highly, highly recommend and use almost weekly. So we're going to move on. Justin, why don't you tell us what we're getting into today?
Well, guys, we were going to skip today. We were both pretty busy, and we were just going to skip it, but every time we skip an episode, people send us comments or DM us, hey, where's the episode this week? So instead, we decided to basically just do a mini episode. So we're just going to run through a couple paddles that we've been testing this week or we have received this week. We're going to talk a little bit about some balls. It's been a big topic of conversation. Again, this seems to come back around. And then we'll get into a short little net gains, talk about what remaining in New Week, New Main, and no Nerd Town this week. But hey, guys, I want to make a request. Give us some questions in the comment. We want to do a Q&A. We really like to do the Q&A. We like these questions that are kind of more general and, bring on conversation. So it's about time we've done one. We haven't done one in a while. So if you have any questions about paddle technology, reviewers, current paddles, literally anything pickleball related, please leave them. And it can even be pro pickleball related. I watch all that stuff. Lewis doesn't keep up with it as much, but
nerds. Nerds. All right. Well, I think before we talk about some paddles, bro, we've got some very big news. It is official. I am a 4.0 DUPR player.
Oh man.
Oh God. I'm so
proud
crazy.
of you.
Honestly, did I cry a lot? Maybe. No, I didn't cry. But I was happy. This morning I played some more DUPR matches and locked it in, dude. I'm officially a 4.0 player. It's been a long time coming, if I do say so myself. But took a little while to get there, man. I was in DUPR hell for a minute.
You've been on the grind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a lot of games actually, and you've showed me your gains and losses are so small. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So this guy's been grinding games just to climb a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy. So. It's annoying. But, feel like I'm getting close to where I think I am. I would say, 4-1, 4-2 maybe would be about accurate. But Not
depends on what part of the country. I think somewhere between 4.0 and 4.5. We'll say. I think it could be higher than a 4.1 for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not married to my DUPR, but it is nice to be a little more accurate. So, and to get out of those three levels. But anyway, guys, I frickin' did it. About time. Justin, we're gonna get you there one day, man. It might take a couple years. We'll get you there. All right. So, you want to talk about some intriguing paddles? Let's start with the bad first, and then we'll move on to the good. So Volair dropped some new paddles. Now,
that was a harsh way to go into it.
Yeah, two of them are solid, perfectly solid paddles, but they made two shapes that are, I'm just going to go ahead and say that they're the worst shapes on planet Earth. They are so bad. So got the shapes right here. We got a lollipop and a spoon. This is the XLW. It's like a 7-inch handle. And Chris from PB Studio pointed this out. These are the squishiest handles I've ever felt in my entire life.
Yeah,
it is like
crazy
memory foam. So these paddles, God, the shapes are just terrible, dude. This is such a goofy looking shape, if I do say so myself. I don't know who this is going to be targeted, but it is a very niche audience, probably 10 people. It is 15.9 by 8.1, just like the Mach 2 shape from Volair. And the handle, let's see exactly what the handle is. It is exactly
6.5.
Yeah, 6.5 for the grip, and then you can pretty much go up to like 7.1.
Yeah, you could wrap it up to 7.
Yeah, it's like kind of. Ugh.
And you guys know me, like I have bigger hands, so I complain about handle length. You don't even need to put a finger up there. Don't pretend like you do. Like this is not me trying, but just there's still all this room.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's crazy how squishy. Like I don't know, the camera's gonna pick this up. This is just smashing all the way in immediately with very little effort. So there's there's kind of, it's almost squishy on the side too. I need to take one of these apart. As you can tell from the plastic, I haven't played with these yet, so
yeah,
I'm not gonna talk about the playability. But yeah, these two shapes, this is like what you would call like a blade shape if you want to be technical, I guess, or what it has been called. It's 17 by 7 with a 6.5-inch handle. Like it's actually
like 6.9.
Well, it's long and
it's
very
like 17
thin.
by 6.9. Regardless, this is about as unforgiving of a paddle as it gets.
Yeah, I bet you get some good, whip and leverage on that. And then this we've joked about it in the past, but this one truly does look like a pizza peel. The thing you stick in the oven to get a pizza out. Now. I'm intrigued actually to try this one. I don't know. This handle is going to drive me insane, the squishiness, but I kind of, like the original Chorus Super Court that was really long handle, but standard shape. I had fun with it. I'm not going to say I'd play great with it, but it was fun. Right?
Yeah, it was a fun time.
So I think that there's a good chance this could be fun to play with, just with that like high weight and balance, but then the wider sweet spot. So, and then onto their two regular shapes. This one is what we'd both consider to be the best out of the four. This is essentially their Mach 2 shape.
These are significantly less squishy handles. I'm not sure.
This is normal squishy EVA. So no, still not ideal, but reasonable. But yeah, this shape is like using full dimensions. This is the Mach 2 shape. You'll be used to it. It was one of the ones that popularized kind of wide body. So nothing negative to say there. And then they have their what they're calling their hybrid shape. You can see it says Hybe here. This is, I guess, technically a hybrid, but it's 16.3 by 7.5. So definitely sacrificing some width here. It's got the same width as an elongated, but it's just shorter. And we were just talking about this before the podcast, and it's the exact, identical shape to the Franklin hybrid, which is a hybrid that we, complained about the same thing. basically just a short elongated. But
however, we both enjoyed the playability of the Franklin, even though it did not use the full allowable dimensions. But
so they're sacrificing a little bit of forgiveness and sweet spot with the width, but that's not to say you couldn't play well with it, or it's and not saying it's horrible or anything like that. Just it could have been optimized a little bit better. But other than that, it's a shape that probably most people won't have a hard time getting along with. Whether you normally play elongated, this is just a slightly shorter version, or you normally play hybrid, it's just a slightly skinnier version. Haven't played with these yet. There are 2 layers of fiberglass, so that's interesting. And they're purple, which purple's my favorite color, and it looks sick. So I do like how that looks.
Titanium top layer, then 2 fiberglass layers, right?
No, it's titanium, carbon, fiberglass. Pretty sure.
Oh, it's 4 layers. Okay, gotcha. I did play with the Volair wide body VF1 or V1F. This paddle, it's good. I don't really have anything negative to say. It's pretty stable out the box, as you would expect. I put no weight on it. I enjoyed it. I don't really have anything negative to say. It's a good performing paddle. It reminded me of a lot of the Invader. But
I could see that.
A slightly softer feel, which is kind of maybe could be indicative of it being the 3rd and 4th layers rather than the 2nd layer. Actually, you know what? The Invader is the 3rd layer of fiberglass, right? It's titanium.
Yeah, like CFC and then titanium on top, right?
Yeah. I think it's the 3rd layer in the Invader, but nonetheless, felt very similar to it, obviously, because it's a very similar layup, but a little bit softer feeling from my recollection, and it was not quite as poppy as I was expecting, but that could just be the fact that I've been playing with the C45 and the GX2 quite a bit, which are both kind of deceivingly poppy paddles. Not really the C45, but the GX2 is pretty deceiving. So, like this paddle, I think it has promise. It is probably an upgrade. No, I mean, I would definitely say it's an upgrade in firepower over the Mach 2 Forza and the Control Forza.
So, and then a couple quick things about Volair. Interesting. Yeah, those 2 crazy shapes of the long handles, those are super niche. I don't know that those are going to be huge sellers, but, maybe they'll be fun or find the right, small kind of niche audience. That's, neither here nor there. But you may have even seen this, but they recently signed Dylan Frazier, who's like one of the top male pros, which was a surprise to everybody. And, he might be transitioning to these paddles. We'll see. The last I saw him playing was with the Control 1 Forza, which is the Kevlar, in the 1 shape, the Mach 1 shape, if you want to call it that.
Perfectly good paddles, too. There's nothing, I wouldn't have nothing negative to say about those paddles either.
Yeah, no, they're good, but compared to what a lot of the other pros are playing, he's probably lacking some firepower.
100%.
So I'm just curious to see, what will come next from Volair now that Dylan's involved. Maybe he'll, kind of push them in the direction of more firepower. It seems to be what most of the pros want to play with because they can handle it well, and it kind of is the speed of the game. Or maybe not. I'm just assuming that because Dylan was previously playing with the 002 from Selkirk, which is really poppy, and then he was playing with the Yola Gen 3, which has got plenty of firepower. So I assume that he wants that. So I'll be interested
as much firepower as you can get
to watch, where this goes and kind of the next thing. And I'll put some time on these when I get a chance. And I like I said, I like that they're purple. That's cool. I'm glad someone did like a purple titanium.
Yeah, a little bit of a head scratcher. Nothing really new in terms of
technology.
Layup or technology, but that's sometimes it's not really that big of a deal. Like the Filth lineup is a perfect example of that. A paddle that really doing nothing new, but they play great and they look
just
great.
Doing everything well.
Almost everyone who gets their hands on them, apart from a 5.0 or 4.5 who's looking for super powerful paddles, is going to be just fine with it. So I think even though it's nothing new, they are good paddles, and I'll continue to test them to kind of see how they compare and stack up to the market. So we're going to move on. Have you played with your Friday Fever paddle yet?
Barely. Yeah,
I barely played with mine as well. I took the stock grip off, just threw a little dry grip on here and put some weight on the sides. Played a game without the weight, and compared to the C45, I felt like it had less firepower, which is kind of shocking. And it was a softer, less forgiving paddle. So that could just be the fact that I was playing it stock, and once I put some weight on it, it did feel a little bit better. But there's just something about this paddle that feels like the sweet spot's a little tighter than most other paddles. So could just be the fact that I was hitting a couple off the edges and wasn't really locked in with it. But I definitely did not feel like I played phenomenally with this paddle. However, I think it's a perfectly good paddle, and for $100, it's kind of a steal, dude. Like, even though you're from this very, very, very small amount of play, I don't think it's quite as good as something like a C45. I do think this is a very high-performing paddle.
And when the C45s are over double the price.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're someone who's looking for that Gen 3 feel, maybe a little bit less power, these thoughts are just very early thoughts and early impressions, so that could change. But I don't think it's an overly powerful paddle. I would say it's like tip of all court. So don't think this is a bad paddle at all. I think it's pretty solid, but I need to put more time into it and play a few more games with it, but just didn't connect with it immediately. So
my thoughts are similar to yours, but I think I had more clear expectations going in because I had been reading about it on the Discord. So I kind of knew going in that it wasn't going to be super powered, and that it would probably be a softer feel. So to me, I didn't have any issues with the sweet spot. To me, the sweet spot felt like a typically elongated, which is smaller than my preference. Same as you. I basically put weight on it after I had the weight out and ready. I knew I was going to do it, but I wanted to try it stock. And then I just put weight on it, and that did help a lot with kind of the feel of the off-center hits. But overall, it has the Gen 3 feel and kind of that dwelly soft feel, which is a good thing because the grit is actually pretty smooth, so the spin is not bonkers. But since it dwells pretty good, you still get good spin on your big strokes. It's not like it was lacking spin. But and from what I have read, people are saying that it does break in and gets a little bit more dwell and a little bit more power, which is typical for these Gen 3 construction. And the guys from Friday are apparently pretty confident about the break in versus break down. They don't think it's going to be a durability issue. We don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see. But they said they did test a bunch of samples and we're testing specifically for that. But I think that the actual feel of ball contact is really nice. But I'd still call it an all-court paddle right now. For us, when we're only 2 games in, that's 30 minutes, right? So so very it may break in to be more than that. But first impressions feels really good. And for $100, man, that's the other paddle that reminds me of this for that price would have been the Electos. I'm talking about. Yeah,
those were poppy though. Those were pretty poppy.
Right. I just mean you get the Gen 3 build.
Yeah.
What's the full name of that?
Picklin Helios Electo.
Yeah, I don't think it's Helios. Yeah, it's just
Electo
Picklin
3.
Electo 3. Yeah. And there were a couple versions. There's a Kevlar version. I actually tested a raw carbon fiber version, which is apparently a prototype and didn't make it to full release, but that one was my favorite. For that price range, I feel like that was one of the only competitors to get that sort of Gen 3 feel at $100 or a little over. So again, Friday just doing what they do. They just make perfectly solid paddles at a great price, and you kind of know what you're going to get. And also, everything I've ever heard about their customer service and all this is really, really good. So it's a company that's easy to recommend.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say that. Even though I did not connect to it, and I'm sure I'll, enjoy it more the more I play with it, it's still a paddle I could easily recommend. It's $100.
That's the launch price. I think it's going to go up after a bit, but that's the launch price.
Yeah. So I don't know if I have a code for Friday, but if I do, it'll be Pursuit, or maybe they do affiliate links. I'll figure that out. But do you know when they launch? Soon, right?
The 16th.
16th. Okay.
So month, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm about 90% sure.
Yeah, we should
Friday
be able
the 16th. Actually, I am sure. It's Friday the 16th.
We'll have another podcast where we'll talk about them a little more in depth, and I'll send out that info for you guys. But anyway, so yeah, that's really all the paddles I have to talk about right now. Do you have any other paddles you want to talk about before we move on? All right.
This week.
Brioti, they sent me over their glasses, and you know, if you're trying to pick up, you know, a significant other at the courts, is probably not the glasses to wear. But
if you're trying to not pick up an eye injury,
that's right. These are. I will go ahead and just say this. Immediately when I put these on, these were by far the best feeling glasses.
Really,
wasn't even close. Yeah. The carbons were pretty good. I've tried those on a couple times. They're pretty good. I would say they're a close second. But as far as feel, lightness, and just like not getting in the way of your hat and stuff like that, these felt good. Haven't played with them very much yet, but I will say if you have these and you play indoor, the frames will kind of give like a ghosting, reflecting effect of the LED lights. However, you can see perfectly fine indoors and whatnot. And they have 3 different lenses. One of them is for outside. I think 2 of them, they enhance color so you can see better. None are polarized, so it shouldn't affect any depth perception. But overall, I was very impressed with the quality. The packaging was very good. And they are pretty easy to change the lenses. The only thing I wish they didn't do was this little black bar right here. I think that would just make them look a lot better. And I don't know, they just kind of look like kid glasses on me. Not sure what it is. The shape
bad. I mean, I'm only looking at you through the phone, but they don't look bad. And of course, I've seen them in person because those are the ones that John wears, right? But yeah, and I've heard a lot of good things about them. I will say that, and they seem really nice. They reached out to me as well and asked if I wanted a pair. And as much as I'd be interested, you know, I have to wear my actual prescription glasses, and they don't have like a prescription option or a lens attachment option yet. Yeah. So I just wear my glasses when I play. I've actually been hit in the face with my regular glasses on hard one time. So much so that my glasses like burst into pieces. Not like the lenses didn't break, but these are like small little titanium things, and all the little pieces come apart for cleaning. Yeah. But when I got hit in the face, they all just like fell apart, and I was like, oh my god. I'm sure everybody was
like, oh my god.
But my eyes were totally fine, you know? Yeah. And then I've also been like grazed across the eye with glasses on and been totally fine. I'm not saying these are perfect protective glasses. I'm just saying I'm not really in the market right now. The only thing that I kind of want sometimes is sunglasses. But every time I've tried prescription sunglasses, it messes with my depth perception for some reason. So here I am just out here squinting. I'll just end up with some wrinkles, you know?
Yeah. If you're in the market for what has been the highest quality pickleball glasses that I have gotten my hands on so far, I would say the Briotis are the way to go. They're a little pricey. I can't remember what the exact price is, but
nice glasses are never cheap in any arena.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but I think these are pretty good. I have a code or an affiliate link that I'll put on the screen here for you guys. But I'll probably wear these a couple times and give y'all more of an in-depth review once I play a little more outdoor. But very impressed with these. So thanks for sending these over. They're solid, as expected. I know John gives them a huge, raving review, and he wears them almost every time he plays. So good stuff, man. So we're going to move on, dude. We're going to have a little heated debate.
Is it heated?
Yeah, no, it's not going to be heated at all, but I wanted to make it dramatic. But so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about what we believe to be the best balls. Maybe we'll do our top 3. If you were going to go play a tournament, doesn't matter, indoor, outdoor, who cares? Just overall, what do you think are the top 3 balls? So do you want us to go first with your third choice? We'll start with each of our thirds.
Oh man, you should have prepped me for this.
Yeah, sorry.
Can I just say
we don't
that
do prep.
Like all pickleballs suck in one way or another. So it's just a game of compromises.
Yeah. They all have their faults.
What you want to give up on. All right, hang on. Like everything I say is going to have to come with a qualifier.
Yeah,
right?
We already know that, Justin. That's everything that's all you do,
right.
brother.
True.
A long non-answer.
I'll say my third place is the X40. And
third place, X40. Wow.
Franklin X40. And here's what I'll say about the Franklin X40, the qualifier. I actually really like it for 2 games. You know, when it's brand new, the color's
I forgot
great.
to preface this. Justin is the most picky ball person that I've ever played with.
It's not just balls. I'm kind of picky about paddles than everything else
far,
too. I'm just picky about gear in life. All right, I like nice shit. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Franklin's great for like 2 games. I actually really like it for the first 2 games. The color's great when it's brand new, and yeah, it's still it stays round better than most balls. Obviously, we know that like forever, but it just gets so slow. But for the first 2 games, the speed is still slower than the other ones, but totally fine. And that's coming from me who plays outside in the heat. I'm still fine with it, I don't mind. I understand that makes points longer, it makes it harder to finish points, but I actually don't mind that. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right.
What's
your third place?
Number 3, and this is truly shocking that it's coming out of my mouth. Number 3 is the Vulcan ball.
The new Vulcan.
The new Vulcan.
We're never talking about the old one. That will never make a list.
Is it good? No. Is it better than a Selkirk? Yes. Although it cracks pretty quick, it bounces better than the Selkirk. It holds its shape a little bit better than the Selkirk, which, is not saying very much. And I just think it feels pretty good off the face. But yeah.
Feels a little more solid than the Franklin, right?
I can guarantee you I'm not picking that ball up to go play unless we have to play with it. Ever.
Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah. What's number 2 for you, big dog?
My number 2 is the Vulcan.
Yeah.
Qualifier for 3 or 4 games. The Franklin was good for 2. The Vulcan is maybe good for 4 before it gets too slow and, unique to Vulcan. Then it gets wobbly bounces. The Franklin doesn't really get wobbly bounces. It just gets mushy. The Vulcan starts to get slow. I could be okay with the speed that the Vulcan gets to for a while, but the bounces are just crazy. Like you'll have 2 returns back to back, one that bounces to your ankles and the next one bounces to your shoulders, and it seemed like the guy served the same way. It's just, this, it drives me crazy. I get so pissed when this happens. So mad.
There's so much footage that I have. Well, why does this bounce? What was that?
I hate it. God, I mean, come on, make a predictable ball at this point.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, that's my number 2.
I'm gonna say this is gonna be a shocker, but this is a recent discovery. Number 2 is the gearbox ball. I can't remember which exact one it is, but I played with it
or something, right?
Yeah, something like that. But it was great. I had no super big issues. The ball bounced very, expectedly, and was great.
Did you only play with one for one session though?
No, I played a whole Moneyball tournament with it.
Oh, okay.
So
because they crack easy. That's the downfall of those.
Yeah, I did. We did have one that cracked on us, but man, it bounced true. It stayed fairly round. It was fast enough, and I just had no issues with it. It was a good ball. So that was kind of a sneaky one. I've heard good things about the Gamma Chuck. That's one I haven't played with yet that I'm interested to try, but I've heard really, really good things about that. So that's my number 2, man. What's your best ball?
Gamma Chuck.
Yeah.
That's my number 1. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. But I've heard good things about it.
Honestly, it kind of is like a hybrid mix between the X40 and the Vulcan in a way. Because it's faster than the Franklin. It will keep its speed longer than the Franklin, more similar to the Vulcan. And it will go out around a little bit, similar to the Vulcan, but not nearly as bad. So it just seems with balls, you have pick the evil you want. Is it going to crack? Is it going to get super soft? Is it going to go out of round? It's going to do one of those three things, like regularly, right? And the Gamma Chuck seems to be almost like a balance for me. It will crack, but not super fast. It will go out of round, but not, horribly crazy bounces. And it will get slow, but not as fast as like the Franklin or things get slow. So, and the color's good. It's like a bright yellow color. And it feels better off the face in the same way the Vulcan does. Like, how the Franklin almost feels light off the face? It feels like you get less spin. It just feels kind of light.
I feel like you can spin the hell out of a Franklin.
Well, what I'm talking about. Like, they have the balls like the Selkirk and a new Vulcan have like that heavier contact feel where you feel like you feel it more. The Chuck has more of that, definitely, than the Franklin.
The Dura is the worst, in my opinion, with that feel. Feels like
that thing's a rock.
Spring.
Though. Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, Gamma Chuck. I mean, and
Gamma
honestly,
gotta try
I need to get some more. I've ordered them over time, but at this point, you probably know this, but what I did is I got 100 X40s for $100 whenever that deal was happening. And I literally just grab 2 every time I go play, and I play with them brand new, and then just leave them at the court. And I don't bring them home.
Picky dude. Jeez.
And then people are always like, dude, you want your ball? And I'm like, it's yours now. I've already played 4 games with it or whatever. I'm done with that ball. So I will just play with a new ball, and then halfway through the session, get another new ball and play with it. And then I just, people think I'm, like Santa Claus out there just giving out balls. But I don't want them. I don't want old used X40s. So anyway.
Well,
I'm still working my way through that box. So that's basically what I've been doing right now.
You little picky boy.
All right. What's your number 1 then?
All right. The best ball in pickleball. And it is literally not even a debate. I don't care what anybody says. I am right about this. The best ball is the X40. It's not even close. It has the best bounces. It's not super fast, which I think makes pickleball way more fun.
It's not super fast. You mean super slow?
No, it's. I wouldn't say it's super slow, but it's just not. It's not a fast ball. It's not as fast as the Selkirk or the Vulcans or the Duros, obviously. But like, who gives a shit? We have power paddles. Like, you can hit every ball hard. I think the people who say that the Franklin is just so slow and mushy, I think that's so overstated. Like, it is like, I think that's such a inflated, it's almost like a myth. Not a myth, but it's like people make that way bigger of a deal than it needs to be, and actually is. I think it's fine. I mean, it's not the fastest ball. I would say it's one of the slower ones, but it's way more fun having elongated points. I mean, how many points do you hit 2 points and you're like, oh, that was so fun, or you hit 2 hits and that was so fun, versus the really long points where you're like, that was really fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly what I play with. Like I said, I just like them new.
I think that's the best ball. It bounces the best. It holds its shape the best.
Oh, it does not bounce the best.
I mean, it bounces 100%.
Okay,
what
listen,
bounces better?
It doesn't wobble bounce, but it bounces so low. It's crazy how low it bounces.
I think it bounces great
for 3 or 4 games, maybe 2 games, maybe, and then it starts bouncing ankle high. It's
maybe just be better.
Yeah. All right. Well, while we're talking about bounce, let's give an honorable mention to the Lifetime ball. Have you played with that?
Never played with it.
Okay. Lifetime ball, people probably know my thoughts about this. It's great in basically every way, except that it bounces super duper high on outdoor courts.
Interesting.
Well, it's because the Lifetime courts are like a floating floor, and so they bounce low. Like, you play with a regular ball inside of a Lifetime, it's just like getting these baby bounces. So now they make the Lifetime ball that bounces, higher, and it works perfect. On the Lifetime ball on Lifetime courts is elite. It's like a great ball, super durable, lasts a long time, bounces straight, doesn't crack. Very, very good. But then you take it outdoors on like a traditional like concrete court, with the outdoor texture, and it bounces crazy high. Like, everything, you can speed up anything. Like, any dink is bouncing up to net high. It's just going to get ripped at you. Any third shot drop you hit, it's going to, especially topspin, bouncing super high. People are ripping it at you. Dang. So it changes the game totally. I mean, some people may like that it changes the game in that way, if that's how you want to play. But I don't love it. But yeah, so that's like an honorable mention. If they were able to kind of take that formula and pull 15% of the bounce out of it, then it would be a great ball. And it has like it's almost more rubbery than plasticky in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why it lasts longer. It's like pretty durable.
Yeah.
So yeah. And Selkirk balls, neither of us like them. They feel like rocks. They bounce crazy.
They're just
I understand.
shit.
I understand like why they're good for durability if you just want to play with the same ball for 3 months, but I don't want to do that.
It'd be great if they just didn't turn into eggs and bounce weird. It'd be a phenomenal ball. But things that are unforgivable for me is an unexpected bounce. That is
I also don't like the color.
Completely unforgivable. Which is why Justin is wrong and the X40 is the best ball. Everybody go comment in the put your comment down below and tell them why.
Do I have to order you some Gamma Chucks? Send them to your address,
you do.
Or what?
Look, I'm fine to play with a better ball. But there's no better ball that
I'm
I
not
played
actually
with.
going to order it for you.
That's the X40.
But you should order it yourself, though, and try it.
Yeah. All right. It got heated. Thank God. We're going to move on, man. Now that we know that the X40 is the best ball ever, we're going to move on to net games. No, for like 5 or 6. Easy. Net games, baby.
For 30 minutes. It's a good ball for 30 minutes.
I'm sorry. Wait. Net gains. What do we got? What do we got for net gains today, big guy?
All right. So today,
now that I'm a 4-0 player, I feel like I should just take all of these, you know?
Yeah, true, actually. I mean, what do I know? You know?
What do you know, chump?
So I'm going to talk about something today that you don't have a problem with. And maybe it's one of the reasons you're 4-0. You know, you're so good. Because you don't have an issue with this. But a lot of people do. And it's kind of it's what I call like reading the return. But the point of this is to be in good position for your third shot. How often do you see yourself, feel yourself, or see someone else taking a third shot with horrible footwork or off balance? And that's like probably your most important shot of the rally in a way. If you doom yourself to take it off balance, like how often do you see people falling backwards because the return comes deeper and they're trying to like hit a drive off their back foot, or, you know, like hit a drop leaning way back off their back foot, or like it's randomly a short return and then they're like all slow to get there and they're lunging, you know, and hitting a third from way too low rather than catching at the peak of the bounce. I think all that starts with your position where you are when you are serving or your partner is serving. And secondly, reading the return. So first off, when you are serving or your partner is serving, when your partner is serving, it's easy. I think just take a step back off the baseline, you know, and be behind the baseline when you start, because it's so easy to move forward. It's not easy to move back. That way, if it's a deep return, you're in position. If it's a shallow return, just go to it. No big deal. This happens to me, like people I play with all the time. There's a few people in particular who I play with, and I'm getting ready to serve, and I see them already creeping into the court, my partner, and I want to be like, whoa, just
what are you doing, brother?
Back it up.
Yeah,
back it up.
Back it up. Just back it up.
Yeah. But and then also, you know, if you serve in a certain way, and especially if you're on the baseline, like myself, I kind of step through my serve. So I will step into the court as I serve. Now, if I'm not vigilant about immediately taking a couple steps back, then I'm going to be in the court in this horrible position. So that's the easy part. Just get yourself, you know, a step behind the baseline before the return is even hit, or as the return is being hit. Now, the second part is, I think that the return is one of the easiest shots to read in the game of pickleball, because you're able to watch the player from a standstill and how their paddle is and how their swing is. Are they slicing? Are they top spinning? Are they hitting forehand, backhand? And kind of where they're hitting. So take advantage of that.
And you have the most time.
Yeah, and especially if you're not serving, you're just standing there watching, right?
Yeah, you're as far from the ball as you can possibly be in pickleball.
Yeah. So it should be one of the easiest shots of the game to read. So take advantage of that. And this is something I've been trying to do myself. And I'm actively staring at the returner and trying to read that shot ASAP. Like as soon as they hit it, I'm trying to like gauge and start moving my feet to where, you know, the area in which the ball is going. Is it going short? Is it going deep? Left, right? All that. You get it. But this is a small thing, but it's actually made a large difference for me. And it's essentially a footwork and positioning thing. But paying attention and reading the return and moving early to get in position, just now you're ready, so ready for the third, you're on balance, and I can guarantee you thirds will be higher percentage and better shots if you are on balance than if you aren't. So, yeah, simple thing, and this is just one of those things that if you don't think about it, you don't think about it, and maybe you don't even know that you're not doing it until you see yourself on film. and then you realize, oh, I'm always hitting my thing off my back foot, my third off my back foot, or I'm always lunging, or whatever it may be. And it's probably just because you're not locked in and reading the return.
Yeah. So that's two huge things to preface reading the return. Number one, unless you have mobility problems, I would say stay a whole large step behind the baseline before
Agree.
you
just in case it's deep.
Yeah, even on your serves, I would serve from at least a foot and a half behind the baseline, because that's going to give you more room to go after your serve, but also keep you in a position where you're safe enough to be able to react to a very good return easily. Yep. So those would be my two things to think about. Whenever your partner's serving, stay a whole step behind the baseline. Just to give you some, a better position to start with, unless you have mobility issues. And then same thing with your serve. Those are going to help you just be in a better spot. You can move forward much easier than you move backwards, and hitting anything off balance with your weight back, probably going to be a much worse shot. Yeah, much worse shot.
It's just going to be a slow drive or a popped up drop. One of the two.
Yep. Or you'll get lucky, 2 times out of 10, and you'll think that you can do that every time and get away with it. So creating bad habits. So great net gains, baby. It really is as simple as just staying a step behind the baseline.
And paying attention.
Yeah.
It's easy to kind of mentally lapse whenever, especially when you're not serving and you're just standing there.
Yeah.
But sometimes, at least for me, it is. So I have to tell myself to lock in before my partner's even serving. I'm locked in watching the returner. And if I tell myself to do that and I focus, then I'm usually in good position. But it's also so easy to just stand there. The service hit, the return is hit, and you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Get off that baseline. If they hit it short, guess what? You just got a free ride to the kitchen. So we're going to move on, dude, to everyone's favorite segment, dude. New week, new main. Sponsored by Brioti Pickleball. If you're looking for tungsten tape, grips, edge guard tape, sleeves, bags, and other amazing pickleball accessories, you can use code PURSUIT to save 15% at checkout at BriotiePickleball.com. Thank you, Brioti, for sponsoring this segment, New Week, New Main. Justin, do you have a new week, new main?
We're going to go on a little journey this week.
Oh, a journey. Our favorite thing. Our favorite thing. New week, new main journey to last week's main.
Little. Right. Listen, who said a journey can't be, a lap,
circular,
a roundabout,
Yeah.
So last week, Vatic, Saga Bloom,
baby.
14. That was my main last week, okay? So this journey starts here, and I really like this paddle. Good paddle. There are a couple things I realized that I wasn't vibing with after playing with it some more. Namely, that the top, for me, is kind of dead. It's a little bit of a dead spot up here. And this tends to happen sometimes with 10-millimeter cell paddles or wide cell paddles. They have more of this kind of hollow, sort of empty feel, which isn't particularly my favorite. I was able to get over that part, but yeah, this dead spot right here was killing me. And specifically on dinks of all things. I kept hitting dinks right here and just hitting the tape, dumping them right into the top of the net over and over again. And then it made me feel like, so then I was trying to adjust to that, and it felt like, I need to try to hit this harder, or literally pay attention and move my paddle forward to do that, So that messed with me too bad. It was messing up a lot of my dinks. I like to take a lot of dinks out of the air, reaching in. I have pretty long arms, but yeah, so it leads to me hitting a lot at the top. And so that led me to try this Saga Flash 14. A little bit of length.
Pick up the fucking Flash.
Yeah, a little bit more length. And not only is it a little bit longer, but also the top on this paddle is a little bit more lively than the Bloom. Just something to do with the shape. Actually, the face as a whole is a little bit more lively. This has got a little bit more pop.
Yeah,
which I'm not mad about.
I noticed that too. Not crazy, but it's a nuance you can pick up after a few games.
Yeah. If you go from seriously putting time on the Saga to this, you can tell there's a slight difference. It's not a huge difference, so it's easy adjustment. So I was playing with this. pretty happy with it. Fixed my issue up here. However, the handle length is not my favorite. This finger is like really crowded for me, not comfortable. But that's okay. I was willing to get over that. So I played a good majority of the week with this and enjoyed it. Like I said, fixed my issue. And then as I do, I thought, I need to compare this to something real quick. I need to benchmark this paddle to make sure. Is it going to be my new main? Is this really as good as it gets for me? So I went to my bag.
He's back.
Went to my bag, and I pulled out.
He's back!
Old Faithful.
Old Faithful.
The Neonic Flare Prime X. And damn it, if I didn't just play better immediately and feel more connected to the paddle. And this may have to do with the fact that I spent almost 6 months with this paddle now. But, it's good. It's good. So, back on the Neonic Flare Prime X. Yeah, this is the main. For the people who are asking, this is 0.5 gram per inch lead tape. This is 6 inches of it here and 4 inches of it here. So we got 3 grams and 2 grams. This setup is like 7.7 twist weight and 113 swing weight. So
he's back, baby.
And real quick, I'll just say the comparison because people ask about this comparison a lot. I won't go in depth, but these are so similar. But yeah, going back after being a week on the Sagas 14s to the Flare Prime X, the Flare Prime X is stiffer feeling, but has a good bit more pop. Like I noticed immediately my offensive shots were better.
Yeah.
And actually, I think it would normally be harder for people to dink with a paddle like this because it's just kind of poppy off the face. Mm-hmm. However, I'm so adjusted to it, it was actually better for me because my problem was I was dumping them in the net. This is a paddle that definitely on volley dinks, like when you're reaching and taking out of the air, you just put it there. Yeah. Like all you're worried about is directing the ball and hitting the sweet spot, maybe a little bit of spin, but it has enough that if you just put it in the right spot and the ball is going back over, it's not going in the net. And reset in the same way, you just put the paddle in the right spot. Sometimes, if anything, you got to loosen your grip and take a little off, but you almost never have to add when you're resetting, which is something that I'm bad at. So I'm back, baby.
He's back, people.
Literally no one's surprised.
Such a good paddle. All right, man. Well, we're going to go on a little journey, too. And I'm going to go ahead and just get you... You've played with me a lot. You know, we've been married for a few months now. You know what my preferences are. I want you to just describe the perfect paddle for me. Can you do that?
Okay. Well, this has changed over time, but I'll give you the answer that you want. I would say for the most of the period that I've known you, hybrid shape, right? Probably a 5.5 inch handle. You want probably a 16 millimeter. You like to feel something that has a little bit of a dwell or plush. You don't always like a super stiff paddle. I think the Flare Prime X was a bit of a exception for you. So I think you like a springy feeling paddle, which I hate, and you like a plush. So yeah, 16 millimeter hybrid, high all court-ish paddle with kind of a dwelly, springy feel. That'd be your ideal, right?
Yeah, I would say in the past, it's been that or the exact same thing but in wide body. So we'll go through some past mains. We're gonna run
standard or hybrid.
We're going through a little journey here. Flare Prime X. I don't know where that is. I thought I had it over here.
It's all right. Here it is.
Here we go. We mained the Flare Prime X for a long time. Before that, we mained the J3K Pro and the Bread and Butter Invader. And so a couple wide bodies, our standard shape paddles, and then a hybrid shape. Then we moved on, because we just like to do that. Moved on to the GX2, which is a standard shape paddle, and 16 millimeters as well. Then I was like, you know what? I'm feeling kind of like I want to go back to a hybrid shape. So mained the Flash 14 for a couple weeks. And
Saga.
Yeah. Excuse me, the Saga Flash, yeah. Love this paddle. But one of the most shocking, this is going to be the most shocking New Week, New Main announcement of all time.
Let's hear it.
We are. It is a new
in the
week.
PBZ, the saw paddle.
Yeah. It is a new main. And can't believe I'm saying this. This is truly shocking. because I've never been able to do this ever.
All right, you're milking it. Let's go.
As far of a match as I think it would be. It is the C45. This is the Dynasty, or the elongated 14mm paddle. New week, new main, baby. It is official.
So a power paddle, an elongated paddle,
elongated
14mm paddle.
14mm.
The 14 isn't so shocking anymore.
Teeny tiny twist weight stock.
True.
And 116, 117-ish swing weight stock as well. So, how did this happen, guys? I'm not really here to tell you how, because I don't really know how. It's truly a miracle. But I have played so well with this paddle the past week and a half that anytime I picked up another paddle to play with it, I immediately wanted to put it down and go back to this. It's crazy. So I've played. Played probably 10 games with this minimum. But anyway, setup is we got the Bodhi grip. Obviously, I have 5 inches of 1 gram per inch tungsten tape from Bodhi here on the bottom corners of the paddle, and I have a 10 gram little slice speed coin with the Bodhi logo on it as well, and this is pretty much perfect, dude. I played some DUPR games this morning. I was getting a lot of compliments on my drives and serves. And
elongateds. Yeah. Good for that.
Louis, in particular, Louis. Louis has a cannon for a forehand. And he was like, damn. I was like, is this what it feels like to play people who hit hard? And I was like, yeah, Louis, this is what it feels like to play against you, asshole. It sucks. It sucks. So I've been driving the hell out of the ball and serving big, and maybe that's why I'm 4-0 now. But this paddle kicks ass. I've played a lot of games with it, at least 10, and no rattle on this one. But I do have a little rattle on the 16mm, very slightly. But yeah, man, these C45s, even stock.
Interesting.
The elongated were pretty damn good. So my metrics are 120 swing weight, 6.72 twist weight, which is 6.7 for an elongated is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That's kind of up there with some of the more stable ones that are out there.
How do you feel about the hands? With the lower twist weight and the higher swing weight, how do you feel about the hands?
I haven't had any issues.
You've been doing wrist workouts or what?
Oh yeah, dude. I wrist workout all the time, guys. All the time.
Is that why?
Yeah, I got very strong wrists. Just kidding. My wrists are pretty average. But yeah, I have always been like 115 and under swing weight. Like that's where I kind of want to live. And for whatever reason, man, I don't know what Franklin did with this C45 elongated, but I freaking love it. Feels great. Love this paddle.
I had to put more time on mine.
Yeah,
I've barely played with it.
It could just
because
be
you said it was good. Look, I didn't know you were remaining it, but you told me that you were liking it, so I did try mine stock, of course, because you got to try them stock first, and I was not playing well with it, honestly. And it started rattling in one game, and I was like, God, my pet peeve about
16?
14, and then this one. I don't know if you can hear that. It's like a maraca at this point, and this has maybe 10 hours on it. Yeah. And it started sounding really different. And that's I liked this paddle, but I stopped playing with it. Got more powerful, sounded different, started rattling, and I was like, I don't want to deal with paddles that are changing. So I don't know. So as soon as my 14 elongated started rattling, I was like, oh, here we go again. And I wasn't playing particularly great, so I put it down. But I do need to put more time into those and see what's up, because it sounds interesting, and maybe they have fixed it, or maybe I just got a lemon. I don't know. I think there have been quite a bit of durability issues.
Yeah.
Dude, it's hard. The spin. The spin is good, but it's so hard to compare the spin of anything to
this. This is a smoother feeling paddle, that's for sure.
You can never tell through the mic, but jeez.
Yeah, it's a pretty smooth. It reminds me of like the titanium faces, None of them are very gritty. You remember that next gen Volair paddle that we got?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, apart from the Volairs, remember how gritty we thought those things were?
Yeah.
And I felt it the other day. It's not that gritty. They're not very gritty paddles. Yeah, the Volair is
every
crazy.
now and then you get some. The Volair ones the new Volair ones are very gritty.
Insane. Yeah. They're one of the grittier paddles that I felt. But that's not to say that you can't generate really good spin with these paddles. I kid you not, I've probably never driven the ball better than I've driven with this paddle. So,
that's awesome.
Your boy, I used to drop almost every third. We played 5 games this morning. I'd probably dropped 5 thirds, maybe 1 a game.
I'm with you, dude. I mean, I've moved to driving. I mean, that's been a while for me now, but I drive a lot more than drop nowadays.
A little sneaky net gains in there. So, yeah, guys, I'm an elongated paddle.
All right, our short episode has officially gotten long.
Yeah. We can talk, dude. We
got stuff to do.
We're just flirting. Anyway. All right, that's basically it, guys. This is episode 42 of the Pickleball Pursuit podcast. Remember, put your questions down below so we can do a Q&A. We want to do one.
Please.
We love them. So anything paddle related, anything pickleball related, anything gear related, hit that down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this week's episode of the Pickleball Pursuit podcast with your host, Lewis, and co-host, Justin from Pickleball, etc. To the next one. Peace.